So there I was, playtesting the new pre-alpha Vassal kit for the second game in the Frank Chadwick's ETO series, this one entitled The Middle Sea. And I was just about to maneuver my guys around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And launch an amazing 2-to-1 odds attack right here. Where are my attack odds? There we go. 2-to-1 to the left. When suddenly I got a ping on my computer, and it said that there was a package to pick up that was delivered by DHL, and I knew that our printer who did Thunder in the East uses DHL, so I leapt out to the post office and I picked up this rather heavy package of Thunder in the East, straight from our printer. This is our preview copy, our first preview copy. Then we get to make corrections, and then they send us another one. And I wanted to do an unboxing with you, extemporaneous though it is, to show you what we're looking at inside of Thunder in the East. Oh my God, I think I broke my desk. All right, what have we here? We have bubble wrap. Ooh. Hopefully your game too will be shipped with bubble wrap. And we have a very heavy box. Oh, but we have a nice, listen, can you hear that? We have a nice vinyl finish. Oh, we got the back of the box design. Wow. This is roughly an 11 by 17 inch box. So you can imagine that the box is pretty good size here. It's reasonably thick. What is that, 2-3 inches? And then there's Frank Chadwick's name in large, friendly letters right there on the cover. And here you can see the opening setup for the situation at Stalingrad as the Russians prepare their counteroffensive. All right, now let's open this baby and see what's inside. All right, this game will not have a plastic insert tray. There's just way too much material for that. All right, oh my goodness. Okay, new game smell. Here we see tuck boxes. This is the Kickstarter exclusive for your Soviet cards, your events. Oh, these are the weather cards, Axis cards. Yeah, that's an Italian flag, but hey, the Italians make an appearance here. So that's on top, followed by the amazing VPG threefold ad, which I'm sure that everybody is saving and framing and putting up on their walls. Well, that looks nice. So here's the plug for the next game in the series. That's what you saw when you came in. There's the Middle Sea. All right, Middle Sea. It's not just a note in the center of the keyboard on your piano anymore. All right, and then punch boards. Okay, that many punch boards. I believe that is approximately 13. So without counting them, we will grab one as a sample. As you can see, each piece is individually cut with a mile of space around it to give you those beautiful rounded corners. Oh, yeah. Oh, and here's the oddball sheet. Now, you know, this is kind of interesting. We did this sheet with these markers here so that when you set up, you can actually put little army group markers on the map and say, okay, well, there's the dividing line between this army and that army. For those who want to get more historical setups, that's eminently doable. And the counter sheets go on and on and on. There are sufficient counter sheets to get you everything you want to play your game. The cards. Ooh, okay, wow. Weather, okay, well, man, that's great wrapping. Now, of course, this implies that I'm going to have a fingernail to open this. Come on, fingernails. There we go. There's a break. All right. Remove that bit of plastic. Extrude the cards from this bit of plastic. And what have we here? Ah, event cards. Yes, these look pretty good. Let's see. Not the thickest cards in the world, but then you don't shuffle them. So that's a big plus. The cards are selected each month, which means every 2 to 4 turns, you will, kind of look and see what cards are available, and then you will select 1 or 2 and set them aside and get ready to play them that month. This, of course, is every Axis player's favorite card, because that really gets the job done. The Soviets have their cards. Tim Allen back design for the card backs. He went with the postage stamp motif that Ty Bomba is so fond of. And boy, are there a lot of Soviet cards to choose from. Because this is like the whole universe of cards for the Soviet Union. I mean, the Axis have got cards that will apply to the West when we get to the West. But the Soviets have got their whole enchilada deck. So they're looking pretty good. And something we found worked pretty darn well at our Consum World playtesting, having weather cards that you can just flip out on the table and just pew, and then you instantly know, it's extreme cold weather out there. Now, what does that mean, you may ask? And then you would turn the card over and, there's a rules summary for extreme cold weather. You can't beat that. So not only can you see the weather in the Mideast and East Europe, but the weather effects are also written on the card. And we found that to be really handy for that little reminder on the top of the table. The cool thing about cards just kind of lying, haphazardly on the map is they stand out a mile. Because, they don't line up with the hex grid, they don't line up with the counters. You just kind of, and then you will instantly know what the weather is. I mean, ho! Okay, baby. Rules book. Perfect bound. Not stitched. And let's see what we got here. Oh man, this is a little tricky to do at an angle. I'm really having a problem with this. Let's try going this way. All right, and then pages of rules. Now we did the rules in a 1 column with sidebar to supplement the rules in the opposite column and give us a chance to put in designer's notes and things like that. Oop, there's a piece of filler. We found a picture. But yeah, everything is here in one place, and you'll see the rules are highly organized. We've got them all bunched in sections, so you'll find things fast. It's a good reference as well as a good read. Okay, the first map. This is a 17 by 22 map extension to the east. And this is one of the main maps, which is, boom, well, you don't need me, right? So I'll disappear here behind this map. This map is the full Monty, the standard wargaming 22 by 34 inch-ish map. And I bet all you East Front gamers will recognize that part of the Baltic states and the Northern Soviet Union. Let's see, we got the back end of Stalingrad there in the middle of the board, going down the Caspian Sea. And, well, and you see, this is why we do these proof openings and inspections, because I do not see the last map piece. So we will have a talk with the printer about that. The scenario book is in a lovely square format, and each scenario is laid out in blocks of data so you can figure out where to put things. And each scenario ends with a campaign game extension. If you want to start a scenario and play the campaign game from there, you get a little layout of the economic map, so you can keep track of, who owns what factory and how many points you get each quarter. And this is an interesting touch. We included a reference book, also 11 inches square, and this is just full of handy definitions for things, because as you're learning a new game, it always helps to be able to grab something and say, oh, a flimflonger, what the hell is a flimflonger? And then you could just open this up to F and read what a flimflonger is and the gist of the rules about it. And of course, we end up with the picture of our favorite designer. There he is, Frank Chadwick, working on the game. Yay, Frank. All right, player aids. Soviet display. Up here is where you put all your reinforcements that are coming in. You know, it's your future reinforcements chart. This is where you keep track of your points, morale, personnel, equipment, and fuel. And you will be tracking those on these numbered tracks. And then down here is your force pool and how you make change. You know, this plus that equals this bigger unit. So this is how assembled forces assemble. There's a holding box over here for your core remnants, your guards units. Guard corps break down into battle groups. The Axis have something similar. Different color scheme, of course. So this is the Axis comings and goings. And there's a lot of goings because there's, you know, things happening on the other fronts. You have to withdraw and take your guys away. And then down here, the Axis have some very interesting stuff going on. With their change box, because they have a lot of different formations between the German panzer armies and infantry armies, the Romanian armies, and then down here the corps. Some of their corps can break down into small divisions. Not a lot. There's not too many ants crawling around on the board, but occasionally you might find it useful to break these guys down into their smaller division components. The air display mat, which if you've been watching the game being played on Vassal, you know that this is where your airplanes live when they're not on the map conducting a mission. The aforementioned economic map that you would set aside when playing a campaign game so that you can mark, you know, who controls what economic centers. The game turn and weather track. So it's all built into one. So if it, for example, it is, what is this, June? You would look down the June column, and you would see the weather for June, and you'd roll the d6, and then explaining what the weather is. You could see that some months, by the way, only have 2 turns, and then some months have 4 turns, and some have 3, and that is the Frank Chadwickian way of telling time in games of this scale. It goes all the way back to Battle for Moscow. Your handy chart with your air combat table and a mission summary for all the air missions. Ground combat table. And I'll tell you, this table has been just a gas to play on because it's got some cool results in it, like stalemate, where both sides take a loss, but there's no retreat and no advance. DP and AP are attacker pressed and defender pressed, which means that player has an option. If it is attacker pressed, the attacker can lose a step and force the defender to retreat. If it is defender pressed, the defender can opt to lose a step and hold the hex. So there's a little more decision making. Also, the overrun table is here. Occasionally, you will find a one-step unit standing out there beating its chest, and you will have a 10 strength or higher motorized unit and take it out. But it's very risky, much safer to kill them in old school combat. But overrunning them, you know, removes them during your movement phase and makes some good time. The sequence of play, which looks rather heady, but it reminds you of a lot of things. This is written this way so that you can run your finger down it and not have to open the rule book. I prefer things where I don't have to open the rule book. Each player gets a terrain effects chart and a build cost chart. These are not supposed to be blank on the back. We got to talk to the printer about that. And you have a little card to keep your theater reserves. Theater reserves are like the coolest thing ever in this game. When I play this game, I'm constantly screaming, we need more theater reserves. These are the handy guys who can pop out defensively after your opponent's combat phase and help you, hold key ground so that they don't roll in during their post-combat regular movement phase. Or you could flood them out of a headquarters that's in offensive mode and just suddenly smite the ground and your reserves pop out and now you've got an attack going on, and it's pretty scary stuff. And for people like me who want to know, how much rail capacity was it to move that guy or like that, this is a little cargo sheet just so that I could remember, and I thought, what the hell, we'll make them for you too. Wow. Well, I got to admit, all of these cards are reasonably thick, and they're nice. This is gonna work. They're really bright. The colors, they did a good job with the colors. I gotta admit that. Printer did that. And now, of course, we gotta find the missing map. But this is why you get a proof copy, so that you can fix these errors before it's mass produced. But boy, this rule book, that is just staggering. All of the things going on with that. Oh, man, that is going to be great. This is a rule book to play with. And the rules, we divided into sections. There's a basic game, there's the optional rules, and the advanced game, and then the campaign game. So if you're not even playing with, that's what these little color bars are. The orange, the yellow section, there you go, are the optional rules with the yellow banner at the top, yellow stripe. And then when you get to the campaign game, you got the orange stripe. And when we refer to the rules in the sequence of play or anywhere else, we backlight them yellow or orange, so you know, that's an advanced rule. That's a campaign game rule. And if you're not playing a campaign game, which I figure a lot of players won't, because the game is really scenario designed for a nice, 10, 12 turn bite of the interesting parts of the campaigns in Russia. So then you don't need to worry about all the campaign game rules. But if you play a campaign game, then everything you need is all in one place. Easy to digest. Wow, I need to punch out some of these pieces. That's what I got to do. Look at those Romanians. Oh, we want Romanians. Let's see what this guy does. Oh, wow, that punched out really nice. That's really nice. And got some thickness. Oh yeah, these are sturdy. I think we're going to be just fine here. All right. Wow. Okay, well, wish I had that last map. I'd get this on the table right now. But wanted you to see what I saw as I saw it. So there it is, the first unboxing of the pre-proof copy, so that we can send our feedback back to the printer and have them make corrections and changes. This is Alan Emrich from Victory Point Games, wanting to get back to playing the Middle Sea and play testing the next game in the series for you. Thanks, everybody, and good gaming and better die rolls.